Welcome to Criticab, a Fast Type production, and I'm your host, Uche Teresa Ezuko. And today, you're welcome to our call out session on creativity and you. We do have a special guest. We do have Molly Zenk as our special guest today. Molly is a USA Today best-selling author. Born in Minnesota and grew up in Florida, lived briefly in Tennessee before finally settling in Colorado. She graduated from Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida, with degrees in secondary education, English, and creative writing. She spent 6 years using those degrees teaching high school English, poetry, and creative writing. She writes across genre, but primarily romance, historical, and urban fantasy, paranormal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Molly Zank to the show.
You're welcome to the show. Yay!
Yay. Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. That was a really nice surprise. You did a really great job. I was, because I know when we were kind of batting times around a little bit, you're like, oh, great, we're both in the same time zone. Because that always works against me whenever I'm talking to someone on the East Coast. They're like, they just randomly name it. I'm like, is that East Coast? Is that Central? And so being both on mountain time was good. And then when I mentioned having to work around my kids' school schedule, you were very accommodating on that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It looks like you've been everywhere from Minnesota to Florida to Tennessee and now Colorado. Look at that. And congratulations on being USA Today best-selling author. That's really good. I'm so proud of your achievements.
Yeah, it's sometimes I still forget because it's kind of still new. It was last summer that a group of authors, I think there was 25 of us total. We got together, each wrote a story for a limited edition box set.
Okay.
And so then we all combined our marketing expertise and our fans, and we're able to, I want to say 111 was the spot we hit. June 20 this year. I'm like, what year is it? Of course it's 2020. So June 2019, the box that I was a part of hit number 111 out of 150 on the USA Today bestseller list. So everyone was excited. I remember we all cried. It was a lot of work, so much work, but everyone involved in it were great to work with. And that was the first time that I did any co-authoring. So, and since then, my friend Sarah Bigelow was going to be in the box set, and she said, hey, let's write a story together. And I'm like, oh, cool, that sounds fun. And we've just, since then, we've written 3 series together.
Look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, that is so good. That is amazing. That is good to hear. Well, that tells me you're busy.
Yeah.
I can see that. Oh, wow, that's good. So can you tell us a bit more about yourself as an author and how creativity has helped to give you that formidable formation as a best-selling author?
Okay. Well, I remember being a writer was something I was always interested in, even when you're a kid and someone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was always a writer. And then probably by 3rd or 4th grade, I would say teacher, which was still true. So I'm actually got to do both of what I always said I was going to do. I got to be a teacher. And then once my kids were born, I stayed home with them. And then that's when I really focused on the writing side of things. But I remember being really little and writing short stories and things. But I really didn't seriously start to publish until till my kids were born, till I had that extra time during nap time or school that I could focus on that creative outlet. And it's something I definitely need. Like, I need that creative outlet. I need to feel productive. And I need to remember I need something for myself. Like, I can't always be mom. I need to remember to be Molly and have something that I enjoy doing.
Exactly. And it also shows some level of sacrifice here because during nap time, like you did mention, you could as well, nap as well, or you give napping to do something for yourself, which is totally amazing. That is so good to pursue that passion, that goal, and have that feeling of fulfillment within you that you actually did something you really wanted to do. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Oh, no
That's so
problem.
amazing. Thank you.
Tell us about your books and how a constant shift in location has helped to spark a sense of creativity towards your literary work.
Okay. Yeah, so like you mentioned in the intro, I've kind of bounced around the United States a
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
I was born in Minnesota. That's
Okay.
where like if someone asks me where I'm from, I'll usually say Minnesota, even though
Okay.
I grew up in Florida, because most of my relatives are still in Minnesota, long history of family being there. And so moved to Florida. I met my husband in Florida,
Oh.
but he's also from Minnesota, so that was interesting that two Minnesotans met in Florida. And so then we go to Minnesota a lot because both his
Yeah.
family and my family are from
Yeah.
there. And we've just been, since Florida, we've been bouncing around following his job. So we moved to Tennessee for
Oh,
his
yeah.
job. We moved to Colorado for his job, and it's pretty stable. We kind of got to Colorado, love it. You know, the mountains are great, the atmosphere, just like the outdoors.
Yeah.
You know, it's not too hot, not too cold. The weather's pretty good. Good stable job for him.
Yeah.
And that also helped me be able to stay home because I didn't have to work, which is, I know, a great luxury that I don't have to work, but I want to write. And he tells me that all the time. You don't have to do this. I'm like, but I want to do
You
this.
want
I
to.
want to write. I
Yeah.
need to get these stories out because
Exactly.
it's like they're not my stories. They're the character stories.
Yeah,
And they
exactly.
want to tell their stories.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that I call it transcribing. I write down what I see and I hear, and
Right.
it becomes what it becomes.
Your imaginations are always at work and trying
Mhm.
to put stories together, create those characters, and give life to them. You know, so
Mhm.
it's really good. It's amazing. It's a good feeling. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us, your style and approach to writing is very unique. Your choice in literary genre as a paranormal, historical, urban fantasy, and romance writer, how has these mix helped you as an individual? Does it influence your personality in any way?
I'm not sure if it influences my personality, but I do recognize, like I always say, like I can't stand bad writing. So there's certain books that I can't read because I'm like, oh, bad writing. And that might be the English teacher coming in too. So the English teacher plus writer,
That's
I
right.
can't read bad grammar, bad writing.
Oh,
I can't watch a TV show with bad writing.
no.
And you know, TV is supposed to be an escape too. But
Yeah.
if the writing is bad, I'm like, oh, I just can't do it. But
Oh no.
yeah, I don't know. As far as personality, I think I'm more aware of what's going on around me just because you know, as a writer, you're very observant and you're picking up on everything around you.
Extreme.
I know there's been some news stories that I've kind of incorporated into books because I'm like, that is too good not to fit into a plot somewhere. And because I have a romantic comedy called Operation Boyfriend that was published last year, and there's a scene where the main character gets held hostage in a porta potty by a monkey with a knife. And that's kind of like a takeoff of a real story that I'd read in the newspaper.
Okay.
It's Orlando Sentinel, so Florida's just crazy all the time. But so it was in the Orlando Sentinel where this monkey was running around, and these ladies felt sorry for him, took him into their house, and then he held him hostage with a steak knife, and they got him to they threw marshmallows at him until he fell asleep.
Yeah.
And so I read that when I was, I don't know how many years ago, and I'm like, I need to put that in a story sometime. And then eventually it did make it into Operation Boyfriend, which is a romantic comedy set in Florida, because I'm like, okay, the story's from Florida. It's got to be in Florida, because all those weird, crazy stories you hear about Florida are usually true.
Oh yeah. Actually, the name Operation Boyfriend, yeah, it does strike me as a comedy. Yeah, I did
Yes.
see.
Yeah, that's one
that
of the romantic comedies.
Yeah.
I kind of got, I like, one of my first loves was writing historical fiction. Then I moved on to romantic comedy just because I was always told I write it well. Like I have a really good ear for dialogue and kind of that humorous situational comedy type of bent. And And then since then I kind of got away and did a little more paranormal, a little more urban fantasy, but there always has to be some comic relief in it, of influence with it, that love triangle or that romance. I need a little romance in everything. Books or TV.
We all need a little romance in our
Yes.
life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but your kind of romance, is it the kind that does end up in, say, happily ever after kind of romance, or?
Usually. So I know, like Operation Boyfriend, there's a slight like mystery involved towards the end.
Okay.
It's more situational comedy, sort of like a sitcom, but then I call it more Happily for Now, where it ends where you can tell, okay, the main characters are getting together, but it's not very definite. Like there's no, music swells, they ride off into the sunset together. It's implied that they end up together, but it's not really confirmed.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Thank you.
We're still on the show Critic Up, a Fast production, and this is our call out session on creativity and you. And today we do have a special guest with us. Molly Zenk is our special guest. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And Molly, you're still welcome to the show. Welcome. All right. So tell us, Molly, I like the concept of your literary escapades and fantasies. It's like an adventure. Tell us, what are your greatest fears, your challenges, goals, and accomplishments?
Well, goals, I think one of my goals was achieved last year with the USA Today bestseller. I think with any writer, you want to keep working towards goals, working to achieve, I call it street cred, like some street cred, like you feel a little more validated with yourself and your creative process and your writing if you can say, oh yeah, I won an award, or I made the bestseller list. So it feels like you're not, because it's such a lonely profession. You're at home a lot, you're typing, you're not talking to a lot of people, so it's hard to realize if it's making an impact at all.
That's right.
So I want to say that kind of loneliness is probably doesn't help. And that, I would say that's a challenge. 2020 itself has been a bit of a challenge, but I've managed to stay productive.
Okay, that's good.
And I've worked out a system for myself that works pretty well with where I work while the kids are in school, and then when they get home, then it's back to being mom. So like I shut down the computer, and then it's their time.
Good. That's really good. Well, sometimes it's really hard to shut down that computer, and you have to give, mommy, can you, just 1 minute, I just need to finish up this, and 1 minute, it's 1 hour.
And I'm like, I'm trying to finish this chapter. I don't want to make dinner yet. I'm trying to finish my chapter.
Oh yeah, exactly. And when 1 minute becomes 1 hour, like, oh no, what have I done? It's actually quite relatable here. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
How do you feel about where you are right now in terms of what you have achieved? And how has life as a best-selling author and a mom helped you to discover your passion, who you are, and what you've become?
Okay. I'm pretty happy overall with where I am career-wise. I do like that I think everyone wants, to be that big name type of author to some extent, but I'm kind of happy to still have that anonymity a bit, because I can still, switch on and off between mom and writer. And it always still really is weird for me if people that I'm not related to tell me they've read my work or that they really liked it. And I guess I just don't kind of get that concept that I'm writing this, I'm putting it out there, and people are actually reading it. Like it doesn't always like connect until someone's like, oh yeah, I'm reading this author that I really like, Molly Zenk. I'm like, oh, that's me. It doesn't connect a lot of times. I think I'm able to keep it very separate, which might be good. I can keep personal mom stuff, family stuff separate from author.
Yeah. Well, in this case, I don't think it can be kept separate. They go together, They do go together. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Thank you, Molly.
We're still on the show Critic Up, a Fast production, and this is our call-out session on creativity and you. And today, we do have a special guest. Molly Zenk is our special guest today. And for more videos like this, do subscribe to our channel. And Molly, you're still welcome to the show. Welcome.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
All right.
This is
All right.
fun.
Yeah, that's right. We're having fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, what are your next big steps? Where are all of these taking you to? Where do you see yourself excelling from here?
I really like co-writing. Like it's nice. Sometimes I joke around. I'm like, oh, it's nice to only have to write half of a book when
Yeah,
someone else picks up the other half.
exactly.
But I do like that it's a little less lonely to have a co-author because you can bounce ideas around with each other. You
Yes,
create the whole world together.
yes,
You, it's it's nice to just have that person that shares the vision of the product and of the world with you. Co-writing, I'm pretty locked into urban fantasy, paranormal,
there we go.
doing a little historical fiction co-writing,
Okay.
and I think I'd like to get back to doing some solo historical fiction, maybe short stories, maybe start small instead of like let me write a whole book by myself again. You know,
Yeah.
start small with short stories, novellas. I really like to combine um, my love of like literature from the teaching piece
Mhm.
to and writing.
All right, so tell us, I'm sure a lot of people out there are eager to know more about what you do. How can we reach out to you for collaborations or partnerships? We're all interested in getting to know you more.
Yeah, so I have I'm most active on Facebook and Twitter. Um, I do answer my own email. There's like a contact form on my website.
Okay.
So I'm so cheap. I haven't paid for a domain yet of my own. So it's a WordPress.
Well,
So
that's
it's
okay.
I'm not good enough or big enough to pay for a domain.
I
It's
don't
not
think
worth it.
so,
I'm just
Molly.
doing a
Molly, I
free
think you're
WordPress.
big enough. I think you should do
Okay.
it. You should take it to the next level, you
All
know?
right. I might pay for that domain next year. Maybe
There
that
we
will be
go. There we go.
January.
That's
I'll
the
start
spirit,
it up.
girl. That's the spirit. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so Facebook is just, I have an author page, I have a personal page. Um, Facebook is just facebook.com/author Molly Zenk. The WordPress is Molly Zenk writes at or .wordpress.com.
Oh, that is so good. That is very good.
We're still on the show Critica, a Fast Side production, and this is our call out session on creativity and you. And today we have a super duper special guest. Molly Zenk is our special guest. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And Molly, you're still welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
you're welcome. All right. So before I let you go, I would love us to play a game together. It's just for
Okay.
fun.
All right.
All right. So based on your style of writing, I did come up with this scenario. Okay. So you and
Okay.
I are in that scenario together. Okay. So let's pretend that we are in a haunted house. Okay. And
Okay.
we have 2 minutes to make a decision to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And we really have to escape because there is a villain in this scenario. And if the villain catches up with us, the villain is going to throw us into a hot lava. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 2 minutes to make a decision on our escape route. So there are two exits in the haunted house. Okay.
Okay.
One is the roof. The roof leads to the penthouse. And the
Mm-hmm.
other is a door. The door leads to a swimming pool. Okay. So now the villain could be in any of these exits. So we really need to be careful here.
Mm-hmm.
So if we make it to the roof and the villain is there, he's probably gonna throw us down the roof and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gone. If we go for the door and the villain is there, he's probably gonna throw us into the hot lava or swimming pool or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I can't swim, so I can't even.
Right. You're like, not the door, not the door. Let's take our chances on the
Yeah.
roof.
All right, so tell us, based on your style of writing, let's pretend this
Mm-hmm.
is a paranormal kind of
Okay.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do? What do you think? How do we get
Okay,
out
well,
of this
my
mess?
first impulse is to say not the roof, just because that's kind of like a horror story cliche where everyone
Yeah,
runs upstairs when the bad guy's after them.
okay.
But yeah, but at the same time, you might have better luck like jumping off the roof or finding like making a rope out of sheets or drain pipe, or there might be some way off the roof instead of just being, you know, stuck on top of a roof with a maniac coming after you.
In a haunted house scenario, I'm sure that we need to be looking for a way out. We don't want to be in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming to the show. And I think that you can actually develop a good plot with the haunted house. Maybe.
Yeah. Just in a few minutes, we're like, okay, let's think this through and figure out the best escape route.
Oh, wow. That's so good. Thank you so much, Polly, for coming to the show. I did enjoy talking to you today. And I'm sure our fans, our friends, our readers out there cannot wait to lay their hands on your wonderful collection. And yeah, I thank you so for making our time to be here with us today. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And it was a fun time.
That's right. Thank you.